Thank you, thank you. So I just want to start off with the word ideal. The definition of ideal is a conception of something in its perfection. And I think this word ideal is misused, and I don't think anyone really understands what an ideal situation looks like, because it's something in its perfection. So everyone in this room is in an unideal situation, including myself. So I'll talk to you about my situation. This is my situation. So, the cards I was dealt. I was born in Portland, Oregon, with my mother, single mom. I've never met my father. And then I was raised more by my uncle and my grandma, because my mom was 16. She didn't know how to be a mom. She was still figuring her stuff out. My uncle was also 16, but he was twins with my mom. And he was really big in football. He was an all-state tight end. And he ended up not going to college for football to get a second job and take care of me. So I really appreciate him for doing that, just because he might have done something with it, because I don't know, I just really appreciate that. And then my grandma was another big help, their mom, because she'd been a mom before, so she knew how to do it. So we lived in that house with my uncle and my mom for a while. And but we moved around a lot after that. My uncle always went with me, pretty much wherever my mom went. We went to Bellingham at one point. That was fun. We got to go to Canada a lot, and then Vancouver, Gresham, Canby, Portland. I also lived in Idaho, but I didn't want to put that on the map, so I didn't. So these are all the schools that I went to. This is another thing in my life. I went to a lot of different schools. I went to McLaughlin Elementary, Wade King Elementary, that was in Bellingham for first grade, Minnehaha from second to fourth, Orchards Elementary, Covington and Frontier. And until I got to Heritage, that was the first school that I stayed with consecutively to finish my school. And it was cool because when going to Covington and Frontier, I had friends from both schools there. And I credit this moving around to all these schools to my social adaptability, as you can see here. Pretty cool. I think I was always the new kid, and I always had to make friends and come out and just, I don't know, put myself in that light so I could be with the cool kids, because that's always what I wanted to do. I just wanted to fit in and be, I don't know, be cool, because that's what you were taught to do. And I actually want to point out something here. I remember this day. It was Edmund and Michael. They wanted to, I don't know what they were doing, but it was Spirit Day. Everyone's dressed up in all green, and they both wore Kevin Love jerseys.
I thought it was Twin Day.
No. They said, like, oh, I thought it was Twin Day on the day of the Pep Assembly. So they wore, I don't know, I thought it was funny, because I saw that in the picture and I remembered it. That's sad. Here, guys, we're done. So those are my first lesson. Play the cards you were dealt. Everyone's in different situations, those unideal situations, and how you can take that unideal situation, like Tanner in his ideal situation, and just come up and make something out of it. Because you have two choices. You can either let your situation hold you back, or use it to your advantage and go somewhere with it. And I have a quote that I created. Challenges are there for motivation when you can't find it yourself. So some people have troubles motivating themselves, but I take these obstacles I've encountered in life and use that as my motivation to never have to do that again or go through that again, or have anyone that I love in the future go through that again. So that's my first lesson. Now I want to go to my family. I'm just going over some of these pictures. My cousin and me, Brandy. I'm really close to my cousins. I've always just kind of grown up with them, and just, well, obviously I grew up with them, but seeing them a lot at family functions. We got a really big, close family. More cousins. This is Faith, JC, Danica. They're really awesome. And this was really who I was closest to in my family. It's my cousin Austin. We went two different routes. He's a fat gamer nerd now and doesn't really care about anything and just eats and plays video games. But yeah, that was cute then too. This is my Uncle Phil. I'll get to that later. Let's me take a picture of him. He's on the phone. This was at a big family event. It was for Christmas Eve. We made a video call to him so you could see the family. And then there's those that you can count on. We all have different people in life that we have as role models or that we go to for certain things. And this was my grandma and grandpa. They both passed away, unfortunately. But those were just some of those people I can count on. I'll go more into that later. The first set of people that I could count on was my Uncle Phil and my Uncle Huck. I didn't have a dad in my life, so these are my father figures. My mom was going through guys, so I despised any guy my mom brought in my life. It didn't matter. These are my role models. These are the people I looked after, and there was going to be no other way. I honestly looked at my Uncle Huck when I was younger like a superhero. Like, he played slow pitch softball, and I went to every single tournament. We went camping with him and stuff, and I'd be in the stands yelling and cheering, and it was fun. And then my Uncle Phil, he was kind of the fun uncle that let me do bad stuff. We all need that person in our family. So that was cool. I probably did some things I shouldn't have done at a young age, but whatever. Yeah, oh yeah, I wanted to go back to that. So, back to those people you can count on. You're going to have to come through opportunities in life where those people you can count on go a different way and you go a different way, or something happens and they're not always going to be there. My Uncle Phil has been in prison for 4 years now. He's got 7 more years left. So that's tough, but I call him, write him letters, he writes me, so he's still in my life. And then my Uncle Huck, he moved out to Canby after I lived with him for junior year, and he's really wrapped up in trying to rebuild his family because he's been through some divorces and stuff, so I haven't really seen him in a while, so he's distracted in doing his family stuff. So again, those people you can count on aren't always going to be there. And then I've got my mom. We've got a weird relationship. I love her. She's my mom, obviously. She does mom stuff. She cooked me food and let me live with her. Helped me when I was sick. So she's a mom. We're not super close. I don't really talk to her about much. But she's my mom. And I can count on her. And then there's my grandma Nini. She raised me, pretty much. Sorry, I get emotional when I'm hungry, so anyone got Snickers? I'm just kidding. She was really cool. She was just so different. She was a weird person. I didn't introduce her to many friends because they probably couldn't handle her. She described my grandma. She smelled like garlic all the time because she loved garlic. She was a chain smoker, so it was garlic and cigarettes. And then whenever she would come over to our house, she would wear one really long shirt. No bra, nothing, just one long shirt. And she would walk around the house and she'd cook food and she'd come and wrestle you and... She was an awesome lady. She was just the kindest person. Her funeral was amazing. So many freaking people came. She's just one of those people that she can just go and impact anyone anywhere. Shirtless or not, bra or not, it didn't matter. People loved her. She just had this spontaneous, outgoing personality. She was a bartender, so she had to. And yeah, funny thing, not really funny, but weird thing about my grandma and grandpa. So my grandma was the chain smoker, and my grandpa was the alcoholic. And my grandma died from an alcohol issue, and my grandpa died from lung cancer, so it was weird. But he was working on shipyards with asbestos and stuff, so that's where he got that, and a mix-up with her, but... Like I said, those people you can count on aren't always going to be there. And I just wanted to go over more a little bit with my family, meet the family. These are all, so this is the rock of my family. This is great-grandma. She came from the Netherlands, gave birth to a bunch of kids, and they gave birth to a bunch of kids. And these are all the grandchildren. So these are all her grandchildren, and then there's another big group that are all her children, including my grandma. That's her mom. So she's just always been the rock of my family. She's the reason why my family comes together for like Christmas and stuff. We can always go to her house for Easter and hang out, and it's cool to see the whole family together. And it's my cousin Faith. She's a very unhappy little girl. I don't know why. She just is very unhappy. This is my little brother Peyton. This was that picture with me in the Tigger suit. That's my cousin, older version. Yeah, Uncle Huck, just everyone, Fam Bam. And then this is my immediate family. Oh, I guess, well, yeah, my immediate family. These are my little brothers, mom, stepdad. He's alright. He's cool, whatever. And these are my brothers. My brothers are awesome. I love my brothers. I hate my brothers too, though, but I love my brothers. Dakota, he is an interesting little guy. He has a bone issue to where his bones are like 4 years behind his actual age. So he actually got held back for that reason because he was so small. They just didn't want him to go forward. He's still the smallest kid in his class, even though he got held back. But because he's older than the kids, he's a kick-ass wrestler. He wrestles in the littlest weight class, so he's like 14 wrestling 11-year-olds, and he goes undefeated. He likes it. He loves it. He loves wrestling. So I'm glad he found something that he can do. And it actually kind of made him fit in at school because now he's known as the wrestler. And I see him. He's starting to have friends come over and hang out. He actually went on a date with a girl. So he's growing up in time. And then my favorite brother, Peyton. Yes, I have favorites. He's super funny. I just love that kid. He's so much older than he acts so much older than he really is. I mean, he's better at Call of Duty than I am. I don't know, he has a mouth on him, and he tries to fight you. And he's getting close to being able to beat up my older brother. He's 14 and he's 6, so it's fun. Yeah, that's us at Saturday market for Mother's Day. This was fun. We actually went to all the Dodgers games when they came to Seattle. He's not even a Dodgers fan, but he's like me. When you're in something, you just go all out. He just goes all out in it, and he didn't know any of the players or anything, but he seemed like the biggest Dodger fan there. And that's my lesson 2. Sometimes it's just going to be you. I had to go through that a lot these last 2 years. It seems like the only person I can talk to sometimes is myself. And I'm just sitting there. It's I don't know. So when all that family leaves, I don't know where I'm going with that, but my quote anyway is independence is key. Sometimes even the people that have always been there will leave, no matter what. Even if it's death, if it's prison, if it's family issues, they're not always going to be there. So that's my second lesson, is learn how to be independent, and because that's going to be a thing after high school. Some of you have had great family situations, and you've had your family to do everything for your whole life. They're not always going to be there. So finding that independence is key. See, I'm very happy by myself. I'm still happy. So what I found when I don't have family, I have other things that help me, and I don't know. These are the three things that really have helped me with my life: sports, DECA, and friends. And when I talk about DECA, I'm not just saying that because this is Miss Prez's class or anything like that. When I talk about DECA, it shaped me as a human being. But I'm going to talk about sports first. As you can see, I was in pretty early. So, I don't know, I was with my uncle, with my uncle being a big influence in my life, big sports guy, he loves basketball, loves football. He's a Bears and a Celtics fan. And he tried so hard. You think how much I look up to him, I would like those sports teams. No, I'm a Blazer and a Pittsburgh fan, so he was disappointed in that. And then I didn't get to play high school sports as much as I wanted to due to just some issues that I had, but I got to play for the God Squad this year. And that was pretty awesome. This is actually, I couldn't get our team picture up. This is Tanner shooting a free throw. This is Robbie boxing a guy out. I'm right there. You can't really see me though. But yeah, undefeated champions, won the tournament. Whatever. Another day in the God Squad. It was cool. And then I got friends. This was I put this picture up here because this is my favorite trip of high school. It was so much fun. Everyone in this picture's in this room other than Edmundo. And he said he was going to be here.
He's here in spirit.
But, yeah, no, this was fun. I'm going to tell you a story. Actually, I'll tell it on the next picture. But, yeah, that was just a really fun trip. Me and Victor slept in, like, a small tent together, and it was fun. It was a good trip. It was a good trip. So, sports. 8th grade football, prime of my football career. Starting center at, like, 120 pounds. Only one that could shotgun it. But no, that was fun. And then I got, I'm really invested. I like to be really knowledgeable about sports. Miss Prez will vouch for that. We fight every day in this class. I mean, Elon, Victor, Ruben, Enrique, we can go for days talking about sports. And everyone's like, oh, you guys fighting. They don't like the way we talk because we talk so angry. And we're so loud and vulgar with it. They're like, oh my gosh, you guys are so mean to each other. No, that's how you talk sports. I try to tell people that. So I got my favorite teams up here. Oregon's my college. Los Angeles Dodgers, my baseball team. I got Wesley here hitting threes in Portland. Pittsburgh. I decided to put a classic up here just for Ruben. This was actually a Lynn Swan touchdown catch for the win in the Super Bowl. A Super Bowl MVP, actually, by the way, Lynn Swan right here. I don't know who that guy is, but there's probably a reason for that. So, yeah, no, that's for you, Ravon. Gosh, DECA. I'm glad I can talk about this now. Where do I start? I guess I'll tell you how I got into it. Freshman year, saw a sign on the door that said, hey, go here, you get free pizza. Duh, okay, I'm going to go to that. Went there, got free pizza. I didn't really listen. I heard stuff, and then she was like, sign up for this class, fantasy football. I was like, well, actually, I already forecasted for it, so I was in marketing. And then I guess I was a pretty good presenter, and the Miss Prez started talking to me, and she's like, hey, you should do DECA. I'm like, what is it? And she's like, this is what we do, and whatever, whatever. So I teamed up with Alex Smith. You don't remember him. He was a senior our freshman year. A huge dude. Just a huge dude. I'm like a little ginger kid, and we were there in Area 9. We were playing this snap game, trying to get girls' numbers and stuff, and we ended up getting like 7th place, but Miss Prez, being the awesome person she was, saw some potential in me for some reason, and decided to take me to state and present caps, and then I presented caps and qualified to state to go to internationals, and then in internationals, I rode this cool ride. That was fun. Florida was like one of the best weeks of my life. That was awesome. And then I stayed into it. And then I started traveling. I started meeting these cool people. This is the crew right here. I put this picture up here because this is the DECA crew. Victor and I were the only 4-year students, but Lauren could have been. But he quit sophomore year. Came back though. He kicked butt this year, by the way. Shout out to Lauren. And yeah, no, I just made so many cool friends. I was pretty good at DECA. I was decent. I did all right. Yeah, no, I just love these guys. And I put this picture in here because I want to give a shout out to Jared. Going to Atlanta with him this year, he was hanging out with me, and he told me something, and it was just the coolest thing anyone's ever told me. He goes, this girl came up to me, and she's like, oh, I overheard you talking, and she started talking to me, and we started talking, I started talking to her friends, and then, I don't know, it was funny, and I just, like, Jared didn't really say anything, and then Jared's like, gosh, I just like being